Good.
Bad news, I cannot attack this round. You know.
Your attack wouldn't do anything anyway.
Well, I have other attacks, ones that can actually do like damage he cannot resist. But you know, right now it seems like saving Kyra might be a bigger option. So I will go ahead, do a full round action to spontaneously. Actually, I don't even need to. I pull out the Meta Magic Rod of Reach. I fire a
move action anyway.
Huh?
That's a move action anyway.
Yeah, move action, pull it out. Fire a freedom of movement at Kyron.
Hooray. So does that remove my
You are no longer
grapple condition?
Yes, cannot be grappled.
Good.
But if you, it slithers around you, I suppose, and you
You can just walk right out though. You can't
push you
block
to over here.
You know, I drained his stacks, he drained my con, it's only fair. Let's see who runs out first.
I have a feeling he'll run out of deck first. They are not known for having a lot of dexterity.
Right.
Well, he's resisting all the energy types. Well, let's hit him with something that is not an energy type. Disintegrate!
That is not that is a true fact. That is not an energy type.
Wow.
Just don't miss and hit Marcus.
I'll hit
What
Marcus.
type of thing is it?
Transmutation magic.
Disintegration.
Disintegrate!
You know, you're transmuting it from, you know, in this case, ooze to ash.
I hit it.
It's not a hard
It's
job.
almost impossible not to.
Yeah.
Is it like
It's a
freaking
one
big?
miss.
He needs to make a DC 22 Fortitude save with a -2 on the roll because of Marcus.
DC 1?
27 with a -2 on the roll.
That's a failure.
Alright. Let's see here.
Don't you love disintegrate?
We'll see. BLAP!
A lot of
100
damage.
102 untyped damage.
Yep.
And this
Why
body
don't you use Disintegrate more often?
Because usually...
better utility spell normally.
Yeah, I use it to break through things.
That's still a lot of damage, though.
Also
But
because
it's single target. Yeah.
if someone succeeds on a save, it's not half damage. It's 5d6.
Yeah, if they succeed on a save, it's the damage is pathetic.
But
If they don't, it's somewhat vicious.
Oh.
Well, that kind of worked the last time, so let's do that again.
You see Marcus slowly getting dissolved.
That's fine by Belmondus.
My spell was not.
That is all the crits.
Can't
That
crit
is
him,
not
though.
it. Why are my weapons wrong again?
You
That's
can't
not a
crit
crit.
him, though.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
You don't
good.
need to add the fire either.
Yeah, well, the fire is just there from the weapon. So the first attack hits, so he has to make a Fortitude save, DC 18, or be slowed. And he takes 1d4 of dex damage, which I will
he
roll in a minute.
fails that.
He fails, so he is slowed for 1 round.
If he survives this.
Takes 166 damage and
Technically, the dex applies first.
1 dex strain.
Does that make him hit 0?
A retaliatory attack first and foremost.
That's
And no, it does not.
Ah, he became petrified. Then.
And
Cool.
another one.
this.
And another one.
At what point does he
And then he's dead.
Good.
go away? Jeez.
As it falls, it loses its form and falls to what seems to be like a big, still slightly moving blob on the ground. But it is formless and appears sort of harmless in this way.
In retrospect, I do believe I should have had to make concealment checks because blind sense doesn't really work that well. But I think he would have probably died anyway, since I have a 75% chance to hit anyways.
That is true, yes, you would have had to, and actually
I just
Most
basically
would have had
realized
to. But hey, you know, stuff happens, and
stuff
sometimes
happens.
it's one or the other way. Generally, if it's in favor of the players, you know, we can probably. It's late anyway. Yeah. So Cash, on the other hand, well, doesn't look because now this goop is still invisible. But yeah, no, yeah, sorry, nothing.
What?
I guess you can't see it.
True seeing's looking around.
She has
Yeah.
the invisibility.
Yeah, she does.
As she goes, she sees this big pile of what seems to be living goop, And she's pretty sure that she might be able to harvest some of that if she wanted to make something fun or cool, alchemical stuff. It seems to be very alchemically active. If she wants to spend like a little half hour and try to do a check to see how much she can gather up of it.
I don't think we want to spend half an hour right here, right now.
She will tell this to the group, and that it will take half an hour, and she knows we don't have time for that.
Zacharias will look around and say, I think that we can press a bit more further, but this place is far more dangerous than we anticipated. We might have to retreat out of here and rest up at some point anyway. He looks down at the goop. Maybe it will hold for an hour or so more.
Well,
It's sort of slightly smoking. Actually smoking visible smoke. It's sort of as if it's evaporating, slightly flying up. But it's going to last for a little bit, certainly. It's not going to like poof in 10 minutes.
well, even if it is, it's not worth, spending half an hour on that.
Not right now, anyway. We can
No.
do it on our way out. As I said, we probably want to rest up at some point in here because this is way more dangerous than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, what the hell?
What did you expect?
I expected a hole in the ground and the Linnon to be there.
It's like a massive tomb.
You were
for-
how?
I
right?
didn't know it was a massive tomb complex until we
Come on,
got
let's
here.
go.
No, we need to consider restoration on Chiron.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can slap a restoration on.
Or a lesser restoration. Just something to get rid of the con damage.
In the
Well-
distance, you can hear sort of what seems to be a distant echoing of what seems to be female voices singing a song.
What?
In,
What?
some-
Sirens! Don't listen to them.
In some what?
In some ancient language, yes.
In English?
It's
What?
hard to hear at this distance. It's just the echoing voices.
Malachi?
Uh-huh.
To confirm, that was ability drain, correct?
Yes. That is drain.
Okay, so restoration letter is out of the
Marcus is-
question. Up
is
to normal restoration.
Telmonus will just look at Azirius accusatorily until he casts restoration.
Well, this is going to burn into my slots for Death Ward, so I'm going to have to start kicking a level 5s out for that.
Well, Death Ward is not doing anything anyway, so that's good. I mean,
That is horrible. If it's things have death effects in here and death will does not help
more
us.
spell slots for other things.
You
I
are
guess. This will cost
That's a
me
glass half full kind of guy.
this will cost me 200 gold pieces of my diamond dust
Yes.
stash.
just you wait until like someone cast power death on us.
So one sec, I need to go into my diamond dust stash and make an edit. But I will cast 2 sets of normal restorations and restore all ability damage to all targets around me.
Alright.
Being 2.
I'm just doing it for Marcus too. We do get the hit points back since our constitution increases.
Like I've just got this like bag of diamond dust. I just like throw a pinch at both of you.
You just take it. Leave me alone.
So
I just-
will poke Karen with the wand.
At this point, it would probably actually be Chiron again.
Yeah.
25 hit points.
You're like rolling round numbers, it seems.
25 is the roundest number.
25. Yeah, this is the point where Chiron would recast his minute buffs.
Yeah, I'm keeping track of my buffs and subtracting spell slots.
Cash probably has some minute buffs as well.
Yeah, that would be.
If you want to cast them.
She will recast Shieldin. I think that's the only minute buff. And remove.
There's some cat's grace.
Yeah, Cat Grace is definitely out.
Stuff.
No, wait, that lasts 160 minutes, not 60 minutes.
What?
No, I'm just going through all my stuff. Like, for a second, I thought resist energy was 16 minutes. No, it's 160 minutes.
Yeah, resist energy is still running.
Okay.
My death ward is still running because I extended that. Yeah, I'm fine. We are ticking towards the clock, though.
So yeah, so Mr. DM, it's 1 AM. Do we press on? You know what to expect.
And do like another room, I guess.
Okay, that's ominous.
Which means the boss is in the room afterwards, or he's going to show us the boss and end the session.
Well, I like it better that way, anyways. Than without knowing.
Marcus clearly wants to open the door.
The
The
door
non-exist-
of
the
which
non-exist-
there are none.
Well, you see,
The road forward.
Zacharias cast stone
begins
shape.
to have a lot of sort of spikes and such against you, almost as if you're walking into sort of the mouth of some stony giant worm.
Oh,
Just saying, sheep. Zacharias can cast stone shape and create a door.
You know,
We Zacharias will have sweep the room in front of him again with detect magic, see what's here.
I'm also true seeing everywhere now.
Yeah, and a lot of true seeing and stuff going around.
I've got 120 feet of piercing true seeing. I'm even seeing ethereal stuff if it comes around.
yes, this place is filled with what seems to be the walls are made of hardened rock, and you see more of the bones of these what seem to be ancient human-like beings. You see that you're probably not the first people who came here. These bones are sort of scattered on the ground and unceremoniously sort of been ripped out. And someone has clearly been checking for stuff of value here at some point in the past, trying to see what sort of stuff that was in here. It's been rummaged through, and some of the bones are broken, skulls shattered, and such.
Okay.
So considering this place is probably not like visited often and disturbed much, are there like Linnorm-sized footprints around?
No, it's rock.
Might be a very heavy.
Are there dust prints? Or is there a disturbance in dust?
Let's make a survival check. Kyron's looking for clues. Oh wow, that was a 20.
Okay, I can look around. He sees what sort of a small bit of stuff, which is basically a few broken bolts, what seems to be dwarven make. Probably from a dwarvish crossbow at some point.
god damn it! It keeps changing.
Similar to those dragon hunters would use.
Dragon Hunters. Do they have like a franchise? Do they have Linner Hunters?
Pretty
as
much,
well?
they have their own thing. They have smiths and whatnot. It's a culture in the dwarven society to hunt dragons, to kill the evil beings.
Let me
Or the
tell you a
good
thing
ones.
or
They don't
two.
really discriminate too often.
We forgot Marcus.
Well, Marcus, he's not really feeling this. You know.
I
Pierce,
tie my silk rope to
Yeah,
last.
see more of the big sort of big sort of teeth like things pointing at you.
any magic, any traps? Perception check 55.
Let's check here. Forget any traps being here. Be hit by.
Why yes, you're standing on one right now. The floor disappears.
No, you actually needed 60 perception to see it. Oh,
Yeah, you see a lot of these basically things hanging from below and beyond, but there's no visible traps at least.
any good or chaos from
No.
Marcus sensing?
There.
Or anything ethereal. Right choice.
You've always seen a little bit of a cave full of these teeth-like things.
I don't like the fact that the song "End of All Hope" just came on.
Good timing.
And here, Zacharias does think he sees something.
Yeah.
Some of these sort of stalagmites, stalactites have sort of oddly shaped things growing on them that looks like some sort of long plant matter.
Zacharias will
They seem to
hold
be
the
sort
party.
of gently concealed, but he's able to see them.
He will hold the party and says, "Hold on. Those stalagmites," he points them out carefully, "have weird things going on them." He seems to think back. Does he even realize what this could be?
He can roll a engineering check.
I will aid you in dungeoneering.
Come in.
So 42.
Yeah, these seem to be. He remembers something he's read about. These seem to be oddly large and sort of grey looking, but they could be some form of roper.
Ah!
What?
It's
A
basically
roper?
a creature that hides in caves and grabs things with its many tentacles and drains their life energy.
Like, think of it as like a huge stone stalagmite with eyes and a mouth and like tentacles that wants to eat you.
That sounds pleasant.
They are super freaky.
I heard tentacles.
But these ones seem to be slightly different from the standard.
How so?
Well, bigger, stronger, and scarier.
Oh, great.
Let's throw in Marcus.
Marcus, you
I
go
am
there.
through.
He's been so
Marcus
brave.
doesn't really agree with this strategy. Zacharias also knows that they're quite intelligent, actually. You can probably hear what you're talking about.
God damn it!
You suck, ropers. Can they move?
Oh.
Talk? Can they talk? And move?
They are aberrations.
Zacharias knows that yes, some of them do talk, but they probably don't speak common.
Aklo, perhaps?
Perhaps.
I mean, you can try it.
Go, Zacharias, talk to those stalagmites.
I mean, they are horrific monstrosities. I don't think they can be
You're a
reasoned.
horrific monstrosity!
Seth the Lich.
But I can be reasoned with. These things are just
No, you
mean.
can't.
Just
What?
talk.
Of course I can.
No, I can't.
Just talk before I have to get out my scroll of tongues.
Zacharias will then raise his voice in Aklo towards the creatures and say, "We wish passage. Stand aside and survive, or resist us and be destroyed. It is your choice, creatures. Now step aside."
Time. Time's a few, sort of half a minute or so before a sort of voice, a gurgling voice repeats, sort of talked into. Where is the white?
The white has been vanquished by us.
You can pass.
No way.
Well,
Then
time.
vote it.
Yeah, that I don't trust this at all.
Marcus does.
Quite.
My sense motive is not good enough, I don't think.
I don't think you can sense motive on a plant's arm. We don't see.
You can't really see which one replied to you. And it seems currently just very, very hard to see what's really a stone and what's these things.
Yeah,
Like
Zacharias.
almost as if they have an uncanny ability to not be seen.
Zacharias tells the rest. They asked if we destroyed the white. I said we did, and they said we could pass. I do not trust it, however. It looks over these creatures. They are quite unpredictable.
So,
Answer so many things.
so what do you suggest? Can we fly through?
They have long rope arms that will try to grab us and eat us. I suggest we send in our most capable fighters to destroy them.
Well, long arms that will try to grab, well, 2 people here right now, that won't be a problem.
Yeah, Kyron doesn't even care, does he?
It's true.
Yeah. Anything tries grabbing you, it just kind
Go,
of falls off.
go, Kyron. Do you want to
Kyron will
tell
try to
Bundes
walk
up again?
through.
Aaron walks in there. Nothing really seems to happen.
Nothing tries grabbing him?
Seriously?
No.
Seriously?
I'm sure it starts walking through.
Yeah, nothing seems to grab him too. Either.
I'm just waiting for him to say
The siren
Yeah.
song from ahead, sort of louder, and you can hear it seems to be some sort of elvish dialect.
What
Elvish
else?
dialect.
Still like,
Zacharias, how do you say thank you in Eklo?
don't thank them. They probably understand you. They probably understood me. Let's go.
Sort of as you
Get
move,
down here, you two.
you will sort of hear Zacharias at least here. So this time, whoever speaks Undercommon
Me.
will hear.
I do.
Just sort of a murmur from the same voice. Dead elves and ancient hate.
Okay.
Dead elves and ancient hate.
Yes.
Is that stop? Stop.
What kind of voice is it?
Well,
The sound of it.
Still a gurgling sort of almost the kind of voice you would get if you took fish eyes and sort of mashed them up in a mortar.
What?
Makes it kind of hard to understand.
Have you heard that before?
Would you be surprised?
No.
Yeah.
The Como.
Sort of a dip, sort of slimy,
Como is back.
squishy sound.
Is that why you asked about to go out today?
No,
Do you
But,
guys remember?
you pass without being.
All right. I guess they. Odd. All right. Fantastic. Zacharias frowns as a lich can, and he will say there is ancient. It might be some sort of revenant remaining of the old elves that were buried here. If it whispers of dead elves and hatred, he seems to think perhaps. Looking at Cash, you might want to stay in the background a little bit. Let me approach and see. Peeks over the
Cash
corner.
looks confused
Yes.
and whispers back, "Why?"
Because we don't know which of the elven hatreds we're talking about.
Because undead creatures generally do not attack liches. They are actually quite drawn to them at times.
What about the elves and
That-
hatred?
I am not an elf, and I am not living.
Fair point.
In the room to the south, Sakurai can just see what seems to be some large, sort of X-shaped, rock-looking things.
But they spoke Undercommon.
I
Has-
noticed. Zacharias floats forward.
Cash is kind of anxious.
Looks down the egg chamber.
Is it Royal eggs?
Is it like face huggers?
So in the ceiling here, you see clutches of what seems to be like thick, ripe, almost grape-like slimy eggs,
Mm-hmm.
dripping slime down what seems to be sort of very large and sort of older-looking, sort of rock-colored, scaly eggs.
Is this like a roper birthing chamber?
Perhaps some of these would be roper eggs, but the ones below certainly aren't.
Scaly eggs,
What
you
could
say?
they possibly be?
Yeah.
What kind of check would that be?
A canna, I think.
Something he is slightly good at.
Can do. That was very bad.
They could look like sort of old, perhaps sort of dead or rotten dragon eggs of some sort.
Ooh.
Maybe a trophy or some part of an old hoard that has been forgotten about or the like. Maybe a sacrifice to some ancient god. Who knows?
The eggs?
Yes.
Zacharias flows around here.
They're
pops
certainly
around.
not living eggs.
So it's dead eggs.
Yeah.
Aww.
Tyron will regardless say, I want those.
What do you want with dead eggs?
That's none of your concern.
Fine.
If anything, they make for a good trophy.
Yeah. They might be useful in some sort of magical.
She calls you Kinslayer.
Tyron shrugs. It's true after all.
It
Is
is.
there a
In
set
more
of
than one regard.
Zacharias, does he understand Elven?
Yes.
I need to do a linguistics check.
Yes, I can.
I'm doing that as we're walking over.
Anyone else who does speak Elven? Can do
Yeah.
it too, if they want to.
We do, in fact, speak Elven.
So,
We
you
actually
can't aid
asked.
in this, but you can roll it. If you speak Elven,
I don't have
can search
linguistics.
roll.
you can. I think you can roll it
Nope.
anyway.
No,
I
you
don't
can
think
only
that's-
roll
Cash
English.
hasn't studied language.
Actually, it depends what the purpose for rolling is. One sec. If it's to decipher a native language of the character, yes, you can
Yes, then go.
roll and train. So you can roll an intelligence check in that case.
It's not trained.
You don't need it to be trained if you're if it's a natural language to you, which it is.
So,
Okay.
intelligence check.
10. Nothing.
Cash isn't really able to decipher the words. They're a different dialect that she's
Well,
used.
it'd be 12 to you actually because it's intelligent.
Only Zacharias actually is able to grasp the.
You know-
Oh,
Oh,
then
this-
it's 12.
Still not enough. Able to grasp the intricacies, and they seem to be songs of ancient poetry. Of the Ice Elven dialect, actually. And if you can make a history check,
Yes.
perhaps he will recall some of the tale of woe that's being sung. In fact, some of these words are actually fitting to an old tale he'd heard, more like a folk's tale of the like, a tale you would tell children to behave in noble society mostly. It is a tale of 3 sort of ice elven sisters. 3 princes, actually, of a great king of the Ice Elves, who fell in love with very handsome lords from below. Not of pure elven blood, but half-elven blood. The suitors, however, were, as it said, not of pure blood, and their father the king forbid them to wed their beloveds. Rather than listen to their father, the three sisters disobeyed him, crept in secret into the northern woods, and were with their half-blooded paramours. In the morning, the king of the Ice Elves discovered their absence and became furious. In his rage, the king, a powerful sorcerer, cursed them and the half-elven lords with a dreadful spell. If ever the sisters looked upon their loves, each would die from each other's gaze. Even as the spell was cast, however, the king's rage began to soften, and he intended to lift the curse. However, before he could do the deed, the king was slain by his brother of a drowish sort, who had waited for this very moment to wipe out the king and his 3 children.
Oh,
The
tragic.
kinslaying ensured that the curse endured. The tale says that the 3 paramours, even as they realized they were cursed, were unable to resist seeing their loved one last time because of it. They were all slain by the dreadful death magic. And so, you should not marry out of your station.
Alright. Zacharias knows a thing or two about undeath. Would the curse, as it was like described in the stories, hint at what, like, if they would survive after? Or, I mean, could he...
They would die.
They would die, right. But violent and horrible deaths in agony and pain and sorrow can certainly
You
make you
seeing
an
them
undead.
being stricken dead.
But as I said, a horrific psychic trauma while dying, such as that, could possibly make you into, say, a wraith or a ghost or something like that.
Maybe. Or Damon, for that matter.
Daemon, sure, but daemons wouldn't sing, would they? Maybe.
The guy doesn't know if demons will sing.
I hasn't heard.
Not like this. This sounds sort of good and full of it sort of has an icy cold feeling to it, shivering the bones of all of you actually.
Amos Zacharias.
Yes.
Does
Here it does.
Does Zacharias share the story?
Yes, he does that under Hush Whispers, and he also adds,
It is a very beautiful song.
there are certain types of undead creatures that can produce chilling music like this, but I do hope I am wrong in this assumption. Because if we are to stand against creatures of that magnitude in here, of all places, where our protective wards does not work, we might be in for a lot of trouble. He frowns deeply and says, I will try to approach.
Azorius complains about your lack of ability to accurately do poems, showing how you should actually do it.
He hisses to the party, do try to stay somewhat in the background if these creatures hate the living and the elves.
Assyria's recitation seems to actually fade in the contrast to the beautiful song echoing through the halls.
Zacharias moves out here, peers around. Is there an adamantine golem in that corner?
Not one, but 2.
Singing
adamant.
beautifully.
Yeah, it's singing beautifully.
They always run around in gangs of 5, 3 to 5.
And they sing
In
beautifully.
families.
It is the encountering. If you roll an anti-golem on an encounter table, they're in a gang.
I don't want to meet in a gang of adamantine. Who has the money?
Yeah, exactly. And who
resources.
lets them just roam around the place?
Just-
in
ah,
ancient
just-
little-
Go and do what
There
you
are,
want.
there are 12 adamantine golems in this house.
That looks like somewhere they would be.
Uh-oh.
This feels like combat.
You don't say.
If something does come up, I'm gonna start running back there to you guys.
Does
So
book it count?
See, is it a Linon who's singing?
La.
Is it banshees?
That's a lovely, lovely voice. Do I see anything else? I have dark vision
And see invisibility.
and see
It's the wrong
visibility.
thing. It's moving sight vision.
Of course, I am true seeing.
Is the song coming from anywhere specific?
Yeah. Second. The song's coming from down here. This way.
Mm-hmm.
Water.
And where's this?
That, let me just tell you. Let me just tell you what that is.
Fool.
Had to keep looking. Yeah, well, it is sort of, it is very quiet, that corner, and sort of, it's almost cloaked in shadow. There seem to be a lot of seems to be sort of corpses draped in sort of rotted, almost gone, if not for the cold. What seems to once have been white clothes, sort of laying over them on these different slabs and such. It seems that someone has been digging through them, but was apparently interrupted in the process of digging through these bones. It just seems to be, it's a burial place for the ice elves.
I might just commit suicide here, but I'll...
You are dead.
I mean, but in here, that act is actually a... I mean, that's not the... Being dead is not the advantage it used to be in here, apparently.
You know?
Also, you might want, if there's actually, like, horrific undead, like, elven princesses here, you might want to try to stay out of sight if you're, like, living, and they hate living, which they have
We
stated.
kind of want to stay close because, as you said, you are not as durable as usual.
I know.
Down there, you also see a lot of these bones laying here, very nicely draped. There's some different. Some of them have apparently some arm rings on them and such.
Mm-hmm.
Different types of gifts, surely.
Mm-hmm. Fancy stuff?
Buried with. Some of it could be quite valuable
Interesting.
if looted.
Not gonna touch that for now, though. Because it seems like the previous one was interrupted while doing so.
She's sort of some bluish wisps almost moving around down there.
Oh, god damn it. Hello?
Hello there.
Oi, Gov!